things you can only do with a home on land or a big backyard or an acreage property, whatever you want to call it, they're awesome. Number one is a pond. And when I say pond here, I mean a big pond, not a small koi pond. You could do that in any size property and more power to you. I'm talking a large pond, bigger than a swimming pool, probably 2 or 3 swimming pools at least, where you could stock it with fish. You could have some aquatic plants. You can be growing things near the banks. Mine's probably 1/4 of an acre. Pond size, couple 100,000 gallons. You can do that with a liner. You can do it with a clay bottom, whatever. But these are things you can't do in your normal neighborhood backyard or your townhome or condo. That gives you a lot of opportunity. We're talking large enough to have a little dock on there where you're going to see some wildlife. It's going to attract ducks and birds and maybe some other pests and things that create a little bit more of an ecosystem in your big backyard. But if you've got the pond, lots of other huge, awesome benefits come with it. We have ducks on ours. We get to see sort of the natural life cycle of mama ducks and laying eggs and incubating and nurturing and baby ducks following mama around the pond and flying in and flying out and all that cool stuff. Some occasional turtles. The fishing part is awesome. And just retaining water on your property. Get you a pond, get you a home with enough land to have a pond. Number 2 is an orchard. And once again, you could have a small orchard in a normal backyard, but we're talking about a larger orchard with dozens of trees where you can space them out. You can accurately irrigate them well, give them room to grow. You could go full size if you wanted. You could even do dwarf trees, but do a lot more of them. And you can really experiment. So when you've got more space and you've got more lot and more yard, of course you should be growing, if you want to have an orchard, the fruit trees that grow well in your area. If you're in the DFW, North Texas area like me, you can actually probably grow more than you think. Peaches do very well. Pears do very well. Plums can do really, really well. Some things you could experiment with if you have the space. You can try apples. You can try a variety of cherries. You can try some things that maybe you're supposed to grow in a slightly colder climate or a slightly warmer climate. But because you have the space, you can plant them knowing those might only fruit every 3 or 4 years when the weather is a little bit more to the cold side or a little bit more to the warm side. But because you have the space, you can have a larger orchard and therefore simply have more fruit and have more variety in all weather patterns, in almost all weather patterns. So if you've got the land, if you got the space, think about a larger orchard. Plant those fruit trees now and benefit for the next, 15 to 50 years, depending on what kind of fruit you've got. One other thing that you just can't do in a small neighborhood backyard is have a sports field. I'm talking a big field, half the size of a football field, maybe the whole size of a football field, where you or the kids can play kickball, wiffle ball, maybe a whole baseball game, flag football, a soccer match, their field hockey with nets and everything. The ability to do that means a lot of things. It means you know where the kids are. They're safely inside the boundaries of your fences or your walls or your yard. Your home may become the gathering place when, at a life stage or at all life stages where you want, the kids in a place where they are. If you're a pet person, it's not just for people. That's where you can really get into it and throw the ball and practice, train a hunting dog, or just let the dogs really, really roam, or cats or whatever other kind of pets you might have, and really, really enjoy what we call a sports field, but just an open field area while also having room to do lots of other things. You just can't do that if you don't have the extra space, the extra land that comes with that. One of our absolute favorites for clients and for ourselves at home is what you might call a party pad or a sports court or just a big concrete slab, right? A large rectangular or square concrete slab where you can do everything from basketball to pickleball, to foursquare, roller skating, skateboarding, the toys that the kids have with any sort of wheels, the tricycles, the little seated wobble back and forth and make the wheels go kind of things. All of those toys, the scooters, the remote control cars, all those things that do better on a solid surface. Normally, when you think of an acreage property or a house with a big backyard or a large lot, you're thinking about the land, the dirt, the soil, the trees, the grass. To have that paved area where all these games and things could happen, if the ground is wet and muddy and soggy, you could still throw up a tent or have a party or put tables and chairs, well lit, is a really, really unique asset that you just can't do in a traditional or smaller backyard space. So think about that. That could just be a plain concrete slab. It could be stained. It could be painted. You could have lines taped on there, but it just gives you a tremendously versatile area to do all kinds of things. So if you've got the land or if you want the land, these are just many things that you can't do in a traditional neighborhood setting, in a traditional, 5th acre, 3rd acre, 1/4 acre lot. It really begins to be exciting at the 1/2 acre and beyond. And much of what I have said on these top 5 is really an acre and more. You can have a big field area plus the orchard, plus a garden, plus maybe the swimming pool, plus maybe the basketball court. These are things that some of them you could do in a normal lot, but with a larger lot, you could do all of them. But hopefully it's got your wheels turning on if you're looking to buy a property like that, or you're looking to add some function and features to the property you already have. Of course, if you're thinking about selling one too, we know lots of folks that want them. We help people buy and sell them. Check our information below. We'd be thrilled to help you do that. Let me know in the comments your favorite thing that you do with your big backyard, or something you're dreaming about doing if you were to get a home on a big backyard. These are things you can only do when you're living on land with a big backyard.